there. Welcome to Top of Mind. Real talk for today's woman. With Anna and Karen.
So we're back again. All we keep doing is hitting the pause. To be really frank, that's why we're not changing our photos.
I normally try to change my shirt, Tattletale.
That's true. She has a couple of times. So Anna just looked at me and said, "What's on your mind?" And I just hit record. So actually, what was going through my mind at the time? Friends. You know, there's this ritual I do, it seems, at the end of every summer as we're getting close to it. My vacation is generally the end of August, the beginning of September. And I realize I do this every year. Sit there and go, this year, I'm going to make a concerted effort to gather friends, and as we get older, it's a little bit harder to kind of meet people. You're not in college, you don't have, you've got kids, family, you become much more isolated. We haven't talked about this before, have we?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
Nope.
just checking. I have so many conversations in my head, who knows? So I was sitting there thinking, okay, so I went online just last week and I started doing what I normally do, which is looking, okay, so what about this group? What about bowling? I mean, I'm looking at all sorts of things that we can do, bowling and tennis and this and that. And it's like, well, Sue can't do a lot of that stuff. So, oh, what about cards and bingo? And it's like, what I'm searching for, which happens at this time each year, seems to be recognition that my life isn't as full as what I'd like it to be with friends. There was a time when it did feel very full. And I would say the last 5 years, maybe a bit longer, it hasn't been. And a lot of that, I think, had to do with being a police officer. The shift works was crazy,
Okay.
So I didn't have consistency. So my circles become much smaller. And I want to expand on that. Then COVID came, and I have had more of a difficulty getting out or wanting to get out. I have great intentions every day of wanting to go here or do that or join this. And I've got a coaching business. Anyway, and looking at the statistics, I mean, they're it. It's like there is no doubt that friendships are what carry us, help us to fend off depression and Alzheimer's and all loneliness and all sorts of stuff. So anyway, what are your thoughts, Anna?
Well, you know that Harvard did that 20-year study on happiness.
That was it. Yes.
Yes. And the number one leading factor to happiness is connections. And that's friendships, right? There's a lot of different connections, but like you and I talk about network connections, they're good, but they're not. Some of them are good, but mostly they're more surfacey.
Yes. Yes.
So I probably feel I'm a little bit of the opposite. I feel very, very fortunate. I feel that I am so uplifted, and like I have so many like kind of people that are capable of holding space for me. You know the story of the elephants. Like there's a story, and don't ask me why I'm bringing this up, but it's basically it's a poem, and I gave it to my sister and my niece, and with a little elephant mug, and I'm not going to say it exactly, but it's like love and loyalty. So female elephants, when one of them is hurt or in distress, the other female elephants circle around like a circle of protection. And they kick up and, they kick up dirt to, if she's hurt, to kind of like protect her. That's kind of how I see my circle of friends.
Cool.
I do. And I feel, and again, I feel very fortunate. Like I'm still very much in touch with my, like 3 childhood best friends. And in fact, 2 of us, 2 of them and myself, we go away every year to Hershey Park, and that's coming up in November. So we always spend a weekend together. So I have them. And then I kind of transitioned over to, like I have, I play tennis, and I play, what's called paddle tennis. And so I have my teams. I have, USTA tennis teams. I have a Deltri tennis team. I have my paddle team. And these ladies really are very much part of my core. And I feel it's not anything I take for granted. I know how lucky I am that I've been able to foster and they fostered, because it takes two, right? It takes two to
Yeah.
build a relationship.
Yeah.
So I feel very fortunate to have that. But I think one of the girls that we are in a group with, that we were in the group coaching with, remember, she said, she kind of reached out and said, I'm really struggling making friends.
Yes. Yes, that's right. I remember that.
And I won't, say her name, but
No.
she can post after she looks at our video. And she, but see, I haven't experienced that, because I've been able to build kind of my smaller circle of
Mhm.
my love and loyalty friends. And I'm part of that too. So obviously it's not just toward me, but it's toward them as well.
Yes.
So it is kind of interesting to hear, but I do feel like it is so important. Now, we talked a few videos ago about how things have been for me this summer, but I've been very much a turtle. So now I'm kind of reaching out to those circles when I'm with these ladies, saying, hey, I'm really struggling with my anxiety because of this. And, like I went and I played paddle with three ladies that I don't really play with a lot on Thursday. And I was, Karen, I woke up like sick to my stomach over the worry of my girls and things. And I went to them, and for whatever reason, like normally I don't play with this group, but I played with them that, Thursday morning. And, one of them has two daughters, and she's talking to me, and then the other one comes in. So I was meant to be there.
Absolutely. There are no coincidences.
Right. So I'm starting to avail myself to those, or they're coming to me. The universe is bringing them to me.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and you're saying yes.
and I'm saying yes. Yeah. And I'm saying yes. So I understand now, you were part of a running club. You're a
Yep.
part of AA. Are you
Yep.
still doing those things?
Well, no, and it's an interesting thing as you're talking. It's kind of like my running club was very much like that. There was a few of us that we were going to be the Golden Girls together. All our spouses were older and not being healthy, so we were going to be left behind. But then things happened and life's changed. One moved out of town, another one went here. I became a police officer, and so that kind of crumbled. And I've probably struggled since then looking for that. In AA, of course, I've been online. I haven't gone back to in-person meetings. That takes too much effort, apparently. So there's an interesting thing. I've always said that to have a friend, you have to be a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to do that, I have to go to the places where I'm going to meet people. I've always had very strong circles. But what I noticed that, unlike you, where you keep them for 10, or you keep them for life, about 10 years. I've noticed when I look back at pictures, like who was at, Sue and I talked about this, who was at our wedding 10 years ago,
Mhm.
compared to who was in our life 10 years before that. I've
Mhm.
always had very strong social um, networks and connections, but COVID kind of tore that apart and my life changed,
Right.
because that, like many people did, but I haven't come back into it yet. And
Okay.
that's the part that, and some things happen at work that kind of hit me sideways, and mental shifts and PTSD and things like that, that I still have to kind of come back from. And I guess this is part of that work for me, is redeveloping that. So, in September, I tend to kind of look and go, okay, what groups can I join? Where can I go? And when you say like with AA, when you get to be an old geezer like me, one of two things happen. Young bucks in there don't want anything to do with the old chick, or the other, which is I become like God because I've been around for forever. And
Mhm.
I want a friend, not another sponsee. I've got those as well. So,
Right.
but when you mentioned I just want to talk about a study. The reason why this came up for me too was besides the fact that I tend to do this each September, it's like that's a new beginning. For some people, January is. For me, September is when the winter starts again, and you're thinking about it. I read about this study, and I'm not very good at naming who it was, but it was about the fact that they gave um, um, rats the opportunity to have LSD laced water. And this was one of the biggest addiction researches that they did many years ago. And anyway, when they were alone, they became addicted and they kept drinking the water, drinking the water, drinking the water. But when they put them in a community, yes, every one of them tasted and tested it. But then in that community, and apparently they're very social animals. I didn't know that. Rats, but apparently they stopped. They didn't continue to go. They didn't need it. And it's
Karen,
that,
I literally just read this study today. I
Oh,
can't believe you're freaking talking about it.
things are meant to be. Yes.
Literally just because it's so fresh on my mind. I just read about it today. And it
Okay,
was
so you can tell
morphine.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sorry. So is this a new study or an old study?
No, I think it's the study you're referring to where they
Yeah.
gave rats
Yeah.
clean water and water laced with morphine. And they
Yeah.
were kind of in isolation. And the rats would drink the morphine to the point that they overdosed.
Yep.
And they would die. So, but before that, so then what they ended up doing was they created that community, almost like a rat park.
Yeah.
They had wheels, they could play, they
Yes.
could socialize with other rats, and they still had both waters in that community.
Yeah.
But the rats no longer wanted that morphine.
Yeah.
So I literally just read this today, girl.
That's funny.
It is funny.
Yeah. So the point, so the point is that, like, it's harder to meet. So my question, I guess I'm putting out there is I'm looking at, I'm a joiner of a group. That's how I get into things,
Mhm.
So when I was thinking about, okay, something for Sue and I to do, whenever I do things for Sue and I, it tends to fall down a little bit more. She's not as consistent and as driven as I am, I guess. So then I thought, okay, I need to join a group by myself. So that's what I know. Finding a hobby or anything like that. It's just that time when you talk about a season, in the last one you're talking about a season. For me, this is a season to get off my ass and make a decision, and that's what I have to do. You asked me about meetings that I just my sponsor said, you just need to make a decision. Doesn't matter whether it's great, otherwise, just go. You can always change your mind afterwards. So I just have to get up out of the house. So this is my kick in the ass, people. I'm kicking myself in the ass. I'm going to be accountable. I'm saying to you, I'm going to go join a group, and out there I'm going to go, and I'm going to get out of my house and do that because I need in person. Okay, there. Thank you. I think we just spent 15 minutes on that for me.
Now let me ask you this though. What comes first, action or motivation?
Action.
Exactly. So
if I wait for motivation, it may never happen.
that's all of us. So you're going to take action. You hear it, everybody. You hear it. She's committed, and we're going to follow up with her.
What the hell? I'm going to lose 10 pounds while we're at it. Oh my God! By January, there we go. And I'm going to win $1 million. No, that I can't control. Okay. Well, some say I can. Anyway. Yes.
But I think you're right. I mean, connection, community is very, very important to us. And now, what we're doing is we're going down a rabbit hole of isolation. And it started really before COVID, but now COVID, made it worse. And again, now even for me, like, because I couldn't play tennis during COVID, but now that's back. So yeah, you got to get out there.
Okay, I'm getting out there, people. So
yes.
Okay. And do you have that problem? If you do, I want to hear down there. Make a commitment like I did. What are you going to do? What are you going to do different? And you know what? If you're not a joiner of a group, think of something else. Smaller group. Book clubs like in your area.
Bible studies.
Yep.
Bible studies.
There's neighborhood app for certain things. Join a card group. That type of stuff. Go smaller. There goes my alarm. Sorry. So, and turning off the alarm. I'm Karen Vale, a confidence and mindset coach, and I'm with
Anna Jennings, and I'm a midlife mentor.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.